10 Days in the National Parks is a new chapter in a series of games that was popular in the early 2000s. I believe it started with 10 Days in the US and then it also had other implementations. But I haven't played any of those, but I played this one. In this competitive game, we're gonna try to create a sequence of 10 cards that will represent a 10-day trip in which we're gonna hike, maybe also fly and drive and travel by boat. Basically go around the United States to see our amazing, beautiful national parks. It sure was fun to look at the map and see many parks where I've been and many parks where I want to be in the future. This is the board of the game, or is it? In the sense that not much is going to happen on this board. It's basically the biggest player aid that I've ever seen, because the only function of the board is to have a place for the draw pile and for 3 discard piles, which of course you could also have without the board at all. What matters is that everybody has a board to look at so they know, hey, where is that park and what is that connected to? However, people sit around the table, they will be seen at different angles, and so it won't be that intuitive necessarily. Then we have 2 card holders representing day from 1 to 5 and from 6 to 10. Let me put them this way so you can see them better. As I said, it's okay to go on the board because the board doesn't matter. And then we have the cards representing the parks. Some cards are unique. Some parks only have 1 card, say Big Bend or White Sands, there's only going to be 1 card. Some, like Hot Springs or Indiana Dunes, they have multiple cards. And then we also have transportation cards. Yes, at the beginning you make a mess like this, which basically allows players to draw their initial cards at the same time, which is very important because drawing your initial cards and setting them up is basically its own mini game. So I'm gonna draw a random card, ooh, very lucky, and I can put it anywhere on my display, and suppose I decide to put it there with see, on one side it says Atlantic Ocean, on one side it says Pacific Ocean. I'm gonna go with the Pacific Ocean. And then I'm gonna draw another card while maybe another player is drawing more cards and also placing them on their holders. And I got the Pinnacles in California. Ooh, Pacific Ocean. The Pinnacles are on the coast, so I'm gonna put them there. Then I'm gonna go Biscayne, I decide to put it here. And then I'm gonna draw Virgin Island, I'm gonna put them here. So basically you are committing. Now I'm gonna start doing it. Oh, Bryce Canyon, so beautiful, been there. So I'm just gonna kind of put them there randomly. The idea is still that you have to, once you place a card in one of these slots, it is locked. There you go. And there you go. Now, right now, that would be my situation here. See, from day 1 to day 10. But it doesn't work because if from Pinnacles I go to I travel in the Pacific Oceans, then I will not be able to reach Minnesota. So what am I trying to do? After everybody's done, you take all of these and make them into a draw pile. But when it is your turn, you'll basically take a card and leave a card. Kind of those like, oopsie, those places like with books where you pick a book, leave a book. We got all around town here. The idea is now I'm trying to create a sequence that will demonstrate that I can travel from one park to the other legally. Your sequence must start with a park and must end with a park. And then you can travel by hiking. Basically, you can put 2 cards next to each other without any transportation as long as they're adjacent. And so, for example, you could hike from the Indiana Dunes to the Badlands, for example. I mean, I did it yesterday. It was pretty fine. Or so you can travel from 2 adjacent parks from one park to another without transportations as long as they are adjacent. You could drive, in which case you can skip one. So if I have a transportation card that shows a van, then I can travel from one park to another one, traveling through another one. So I could place Indiana Dunes, this card here facing this way, and then Hot Spring. Indiana Dunes, this card, Hot Spring, in my sequence, for example. Or if I set this card on this other side, then I can travel from one place to a place of the same color, and so now I could go from the Great Smoky Mountains to Canyonlands, for example. Doesn't matter where they are, from the Great Smokies to Canyonlands, for example. And that's pretty much the general idea. During your turn, you will draw a card either from the main draw deck, so it's a blind draw, or from the discard pile, so you will have enough for O3. That's not going to happen. It's a transportation card. People are going to take it because they're so valuable. There you go. So I'll have my draw pile here. I can draw from there. And then all's gonna happen, I take a card from a discard pile, I place it somewhere in my sequence. And just like during setup, when I place it in the sequence, it is locked. So I place it anywhere in my sequence. Suppose I decide to place it there. And I discard it. And the next player either draws blindly or takes a card and places it in their thing and discards one. And that's it. Take a card, place it, and discard a card. And you continue like this until a player stops the game, declaring that they have the full sequence and they can demonstrate that indeed all of their cards are connected legally, so they can travel by hiking, flying, driving, or by ship. And the first player to complete a full sequence wins the game. Some friends I played this game with had played 10 Days in the US, and they said that they found that map a lot easier to play with, a lot more intuitive because, well, they know the geography, but knowing the parks is not so obvious. Also, even if you know exactly where they are, they're not necessarily connected in a way that makes it so intuitive, because you can hike on this map from places to places that you probably wouldn't hike quite as easily in real life. So you just had to start with a map that you have to learn how to read, and you had to really be super careful, because you put next to each other two cars so that you thought you could hike from one to the other, and then you can't. That's bad. That's very bad. I haven't played the game, but again, I spend my time looking at the map and then looking again and then double checking and then triple checking and then making a mistake. But most importantly, also we played with 4 people, and I thought that the downtime was significant because you really want to make sure that you make your decisions correctly. A single card placed in the wrong position is going to set you back maybe for too much. And it's completely multiplayer solo. The offer of cards and discard pile, you have no control over that. And so you're just playing with 4 players 25% of the game and just waiting there. And it's not a game that leads to conversation, chatting, because everybody's really absorbed on their puzzle. Most importantly, though, the reason why I did not enjoy was the amount of randomness. I just felt that the luck of the draw is the complete ruler of the game, is in total control. And your strategy has something to add to it, but I don't know that a good strategy, good decision making is going to make up for the power of the luck of the draw. Very simple. We played the game, and I got 2 transportation cards during setup, and then during the game, I happened to draw one blindly from the deck, and I was pretty excited. I have a segment here, I can connect it there. Let me get a card of a certain color so I can have the other leg of a flight. And basically, I was like 1 card away when a player won. I was like, man, I was so close. That felt very exciting race. And then I turned to a friend who says like, oh, well, I haven't been able to do anything the whole game because I just got the wrong cards. I just never got cards that could get together, no transportation cards. I thought this game was going to be on forever. It was going to go on forever because he thought everybody was in a similar situation. We play again, and guess what? Now I happen to be the one who doesn't draw transportation cards, and not won, not during setup, not won the whole game. And guess what? I was at the mercy of the luck of the draw. I was hoping to get cards that I could get here and there. But look at this. If you don't get transportation cards, there are 10 cards that you have to hike from. And you really have to get lucky. Or yeah, maybe it's only one. You get transportation one. But you have to really get exact cards. A single transportation cards gives you more opportunities and also releases you from the obligation of completing another one. It's a huge advantage, and to me that's a lot. That's too much, considering there's absolutely no way of ensuring that you'll get them. And so after this other game that we played, I asked the winner, so how about transposition cards? And she was like, oh yeah, I got one at the beginning and then another one, which is pretty much again the point. You need those transportation cards. There is no way of ensuring you will get them. Maybe you let me know if in your experience you were able to win without transportation cards against a person who had two or three. I'd like to know that. I'd like to know how you did it. But it felt that the game that I played didn't get cards. I felt like I wasn't doing anything meaningful. I was waiting to take a card that was useless and maybe creates a cluster of two. I have 8 to go, and I know somebody else already has 6 or 7. It didn't feel engaging. It didn't feel like I could change my strategy or do anything. It ended up being just boring and frustrating. So now maybe with two players, when somebody occasionally discards a transportation card, then you know you have the opportunity of getting it. But that wasn't the case. There was a time a player discarded one and somebody else covered it with another one. So I know I would never get it. By the time it gets to me, I should get a transportation a card I don't need in the hope the transportation will be there. No point. Maybe with two, there's gonna be less downtime and you play more relaxed, and so the luck of the draw bothers you less. But games where the luck of the draw is so important, if it's just like a light party game about exploding young cats, sure, why not? But here's a puzzle, and you feel that it should reward thinking, and I don't think it does so much. Maybe with a variant, you start the game by ensuring that everybody has 2 transportation cards. Maybe they even choose which ones they want and choose them when they play them, and then you shuffle the rest and you complete setup. But with that much randomness, the game to me is not engaging. Is not engaging. And when you add that to the downtime with 3 or 4 players, this is not a game that I'm looking forward to playing again, unless we decide to try the variant where everybody gets transportation cards at the beginning.